Hafa day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the University of Guam Board of Regents second quarter regular meeting. It is 5:30, so we are going to get ready to begin. As a kind reminder, this meeting is recorded and live streamed and open to the public. And as another friendly reminder, everyone around the table, just a kind reminder to, when you're ready to speak, to turn on your mic, and when you're done, to turn it off so that those online can hear you. All right, Mr. Chair, when you're ready.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the regular meeting of the University of Guam Board of Regents. My name is Regent Pete Diaz, chairperson of the board, and I will be presiding over today's meeting. Today is Thursday, May 14, 2026. Thank you all for being here. This meeting is being held in accordance with Guam's open government law, with notices published in the Pacific Daily News e-edition on May 7th and May 12th, 2026, and posted on the Government of Guam Public Notices portal. The agenda for today's meeting has also been publicly posted in compliance with the open government law. Today's meeting is open to the public and is being live streamed on the University of Guam YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/UOG Tritons. We kindly ask that all attendees observe proper decorum throughout the meeting. Please be respectful in your comments and refrain from any disruptions. Should disruptions occur, individuals may be asked to leave. For online participants, please mute your microphones unless recognized to speak and refrain from any inappropriate or disruptive behavior. Please note again that this meeting is being recorded. By attending in person or virtually, you are consenting to being recorded, including any remarks you may make during the open presentation portion of the meeting. At this time, I officially call this meeting to order at 5:32 p.m. Moving on to Agenda 2.0, meeting minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of February 19, 2026?
Regent Chun would like to make a motion.
All right, can I have a second?
Virginia Joa, second.
All right. Any corrections or discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. All right, moving on to agenda item 3.0, it'll be my remarks. Hafa members of the board, President Enriquez, administrators, faculty, staff, students, members of the university community, and the general public. Thank you for joining us today for the second quarter regular meeting of the University of Guam Board of Regents. As we meet this afternoon, the university is nearing the close of the Famyumnakan 2026 semester and preparing for one of the most meaningful milestones in our academic year, commencement. On Sunday, May 24th, our graduates will walk across the stage, joined by their families, friends, faculty, and the many people who help support their journey. Commencement is always a powerful reminder of why the university's work matters. It represents years of study, sacrifice, persistence, and service. On behalf of the board, I extend our congratulations in advance to the Famyumnakan 2026 graduating class. I would also like to congratulate Kayleen Roberto, who serves as our protocol and board liaison officer, as she joins this graduating class and obtaining her Master of Public Administration degree. We also thank the faculty, advisors, staff, and administrators who continue to guide our students towards degree completion and success. I would like to highlight recent student achievements reflecting their talent and the reach of UOG's academic programs. I would like to recognize UOG student Caden Pobletti, who was named a 2026 Truman Scholar. This is an outstanding national achievement and continues UOG's proud legacy of preparing public service leaders for Guam, Micronesia, and beyond. I also congratulate Isabella de la Soto, who was selected for the prestigious Trials pre-law program. Her selection as the first student from Guam chosen for the program's 2026 cohort as another example of the talent, determination, and promise of UOG students. In addition to these student achievements, the university continues to create meaningful opportunities for learning, civil engagement, and community connection. Recent highlights include UOG Master of Public Administration Students Administrative Law Forum, which brought community leaders together to discuss governance, artificial intelligence, culture, and Guam's economic future. The 11th annual UOG Film Festival showcased emerging local talent and creative storytelling. And the Fine Arts Senior Exhibition, Interflow Currents of Connection at the Isla Center of Arts. These efforts reflect the university's broader mission to educate, to serve, to create, to contribute to the well-being of our island and region. As this is my final regular meeting as chairperson of the Board of Regents, with my term on the board ending at the end of this month, I would like to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude. It has been an honor to serve the University of Guam in this capacity. I am grateful to my fellow regents for their service and commitment to President Enriquez and her leadership team for their dedication to the faculty, staff, and students who carry the mission of this university forward every day. The work of the board is not always easy, but it's important. It requires careful attention, accountability, and a shared commitment to the long-term success of the university. I am proud of the progress we have made together and confident that UOG will continue to rise, guided by its mission, its strategic priorities, and its island wisdom values of Inadahi Zen Indagofli'i, respect, compassion, and community. Before proceeding further, I would like to take note that consistent with the open government law and guidance of council, committee activities during this meeting cycle were limited to administrative coordination and informational preparation. All substantive board deliberations and actions will occur during this public meeting unless otherwise authorized by law. We have a full agenda today. I now look forward to the president's report.
Sujus Masi, Hafaday, Chairman Diaz, Vice Chairman Nahalawa, Treasurer Duenas, distinguished regents, and distinguished guests. It is my privilege to present the second quarter President's Report for academic year 2025 to 2026, guided by the Tulis Mortna Strategic Plan, navigating 2024 through 2029. Strategic pillar number 1, Ipinexai Unabet Sadat, and ensure every student receives a guided voyage to their destination. As mentioned by Chairman Diaz, I'd also, on behalf of our university family, wish to congratulate our graduating class of spring 2026. I also want to acknowledge the amazing efforts of our faculty, support staff, our administrators, all those who are part of that journey to ensure every student receives that guided voyage to their destination. This quarter, the Enrollment Management and Student Success Division continued advancing equitable access to comprehensive academic, financial, career health, and wellness support to promote student retention and graduation success. Outreach and recruitment were expanded across Guam and our region through high school presentations, career fairs, tabletop events, campus tours, and targeted pipeline recruitment efforts. The Triton Advising Center continued supporting career readiness through resume and interview workshops, internship placements, and employer partnerships. This quarter, TAC hosted Program Center internship fairs and a professional workforce job fair that connected students, alumni, and members of the public with employers and career opportunities. The Triton Counseling and Wellness Center provided individual counseling services and expanded outreach to strengthen student well-being with continued presence at new and transfer student orientation, welcome week, and residence halls outreach events. Student Health Services continued providing wellness services and coordinated campus events focused on health screenings, informed decision-making, and resource access. Disability Support Services continued providing accommodations and individualized support for students with permanent and temporary disabilities, coordinating with faculty to implement approved accommodations and helping address barriers that could impact persistence and course completion. The Student Life Office strengthens student engagement and leadership development through orientation and training for officers of active student organizations, including updated policies and procedures and financial training. Spring activities include elections for Student Regent and the 65th Student Government Association Council on May 6th and 7th, Open Mic Night on April 23rd, and Triton's Unwind De-Stress events during finals week, scheduled for May 18th through 20th. Planning is underway for summer orientation and training for incoming SGA leadership and for Fanutsanan Fall 2026 Open House and new and transfer student orientations. EMSS is preparing for Triton Summer Academy 2026, a one-week transition program that strengthens foundational academic readiness, introduces campus resources and leadership opportunities, and builds early peer mentorship and belonging. Students conclude the program with a finalized course schedule and an assigned mentor to support their first steps at UOG. Our second strategic pillar, position UOG as a trusted source for quality programs, research, service, and extension. UOG continued delivering public value through teaching, research, service, and extension that addresses island priorities and strengthens regional partnerships. The Center for Research and Innovation continued strengthening UOG's research ecosystem through grant development support, research communications, compliance oversight, and strategic partnerships. The Research Matters Public Communications series continues highlighting UOG research centers and societal impact. And CRI continues supporting institutional compliance through IRB oversight, updating templates, and improved user accessibility. CRI is coordinating with campus partners to co-host the UOG Research Forum in October 2026 and continues advancing proposal pipelines aligned with workforce, resilience, and infrastructure priorities. As part of the strategic communications and public engagement efforts, we continue the Para Todo Hit column series, meaning for all of us in Samoro. Published in the Pacific Daily News and shared across UOG platforms, Para Todo Hit helps connect our priorities and progress with the wider community through values-based storytelling grounded in Inadahis and Inagofli'i, strengthening transparency and reinforcing UOG's public mission. UOG Horizons also continued showcasing practical, community-centered knowledge and applied science with column topics this quarter spanning agriculture and home food resilience, poultry health, personal finance, soil health after wildfire, plant disease post-typhoon, and other timely extension and education priorities that support Guam families and communities. The College of Natural and Applied Sciences and land-grant programs continued advancing student opportunity, research, and community impact. Highlights include a new academic partnership pathway with the New York Institute of Technology College of Osteopathic Medicine, expanded STEM partnerships through island-wide science and math events, and continued extension workshops supporting agriculture, nutrition, financial security, and resilience. Registration is now open for the UOG Land Grant 4-H Summer Enrichment Camps, with sessions beginning June 1st. This year's program includes 27 camps spanning coding and game development, STEM topics such as biology, physics, and forensic chemistry, and hands-on learning in art, cooking, and sewing. Sign me up. New offerings include expanded computer-based camps and a 6-week theater camp that culminate in Swasico, the musical, with public performances scheduled for July 14th to 17th at the UOG Fine Arts Theater. Camps are offered in half-day sessions for youth in grades 1 through 12 and are delivered by UOG subject matter experts using the university model curriculum, but in an emphasis on hands-on learning. Strategic Pillar 3, enrich the employee experience through Inadahis and Inagofli'i. This pillar focuses on supporting our employees whose work drives UOG success. The Human Resources Office continued maintaining new staff orientation and continued providing onboarding presentations for new faculty and administrator hires. Employees participated in Department of administration trainings with topics ranging from customer service to ADA basics and reasonable accommodation, resilience and thriving, and retirement planning. The UOG Employee Association supported employee engagement through sponsored registrations for the Charter Day 2K and 5K run and walk, launched a Step Up Walking Wellness Challenge from March 1st through May 31st, raffled concert VIP tickets for the Hafaloha concert series, and hosted a fundraiser during UOG Blue Night. In parallel, UOG mobilized a coordinated relief effort that raised more than $10,000 to support communities impacted across Guam, CNMI, and Chuuk. These funds helped fill a 20-foot container with essential supplies and provided direct recovery support to our partner institution, the Northern Mariners College, as well as Triton families affected by the storm. Strategic Pillar 4, optimize UOG's financial health and sustainable growth. University advancement continues building philanthropic capacity through targeted donor engagement, stewardship, and initiatives that support student success and facility needs. Donor wall projects are in progress, recognizing our supporters while also strengthening sustainable pathways for future giving tied to student and campus priorities. Planning is also underway to launch an employee giving campaign. This initiative will create a unified, values-based opportunity for faculty and staff to invest in the university's mission through convenient giving options and shared pride in supporting students and programs. As we continue strengthening philanthropic partnerships, the university will welcome Edwina Finley as our distinguished guest speaker and commencement speaker. Ms. Finley is an award-winning actress and best-selling author, recognized for her work in film and television, and for her message centered on purpose, resilience, and leadership. In addition to commencement, Ms. Finley will lead a special fireside chat for graduating high school seniors on May 22nd, focused on the journey is yours, courage, confidence, and choice. And registration is limited to 200 of these graduating students, and each participant will receive a complimentary copy of her book, The World is Waiting for You. We also continue strengthening long-term financial resilience through philanthropic growth and disciplined stewardship of endowment resources. The University of Guam Endowment Foundation remains a key partner in sustaining scholarships, programs, and long-term university priorities, including designated support for facilities and other campus needs. Looking ahead, planning is also underway for two major university advancement events in anticipation of the university's 75th year Diamond Jubilee in 2027. The first is a mega alumni cocktail mixer this September, which will highlight distinguished alumni from the past 3 years and provide an opportunity to reconnect with alumni, partners, and supporters. The event will also help introduce and build momentum for the university's capital campaign efforts. The second is the Diamond Jubilee Gala, which will serve as a signature celebration of the UOG's 75-year legacy scheduled for next year. As part of this milestone, the university is also preparing to release a new UOG coffee table book and a UOG documentary to preserve and share our institutional story, celebrate our people, and elevate UOG's enduring impact on Guam and the surrounding region. In closing, this quarter reflects a university continuing to strengthen student success, supports expanded learning and research impact, invest in our employees, and build the capacity needed to serve Guam and our region well. I want to take this time to express my sincerest appreciation to our faculty, our staff, administrators, our student leaders, alumni, partners, and particularly our Board of Regents for your leadership and support. I want to express, of course, a very special Sandunklin and Assiduous Masi to Chairman Pete Diaz for your many years of service. Today is your last official meeting of the Board of Regents. We are so thrilled. We have been so thrilled to have you share in providing the necessary guidance for the institution as a whole. So that concludes my message. Assiduous Masi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right. Moving on our agenda, 5.0 reports from standing committees. Agenda 5.1 is the Student Affairs, Scholarship, Alumni Relations, and Honorary Degree or SASARD Committee. For this, we have administrative updates. So I would now call Senior Vice President Provost, Dr. Charlene Santos Bamba, to provide this update.
Thank you, Regent Diaz. Madam President reported on much of the academic and student affairs part, but I would like to add a few things, just an update to the Board of Regents. First, through EMSS, we've secured 3 positions with hires, specifically a retention specialist, a recruitment specialist, and an ADA specialist. These 3 individuals will bring a bit more focus to our initiatives with regard to recruitment and retention, as well as to ensure that we remain in compliance with federal guidelines with regard to ADA accommodations for students. We are tracking, of course, our graduates for our upcoming commencement ceremony. And just for a bit of history, in spring 25, we graduated the largest class of 379 graduates. This next commencement, we are tracking very closely. So it may be the second largest class at 373 graduates. As mentioned, the Triton Summer Academy will begin again this summer. The past goal was 200. We are upping our goal by about 50 to 250 in hopes to attract more students. If you are unfamiliar, the matriculation rate for students enrolled in the Triton Summer Academy is 99%. So we've learned that this is a successful program and we want to continue and grow it for opportunities for students who intend to enroll at the University of Guam. Another one is that our Student Government Association hosted faculty appreciation, and many faculty members across the campus received cards and treats from students. And I know for a fact there was at least one faculty member who told me that it just changed his whole life to be appreciated by a student, a new faculty member. And last month, we also hosted Night of the Arts for members of the university community as well as the community at large. It was a very well-attended event, poetry slam. We had students from the dorms and the student organizations that hosted different kinds of art projects. We had book sales from the UOG Press, etc. So very eventful and well-attended. That's the update that I have for you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Open up to the board. Any questions for RSVP? No? All right, we do have a couple of resolutions, so we'll go on to the next agenda item, which is 5.12. Can I have a motion to bring resolution 26-13 to the floor?
Regent Holoway makes the motion.
All right, can I have a second?
Regent Ulloa, second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. All right. For discussion, let's see. We will call for Dr. Charlene, would you provide discussion for this resolution? Five point 1.2, resolution number 26-13.
So this resolution in particular is to approve the listing of the upcoming graduates for Fanium Nakan 2026. Mr. Chair, we will continue to track graduates through the end of the semester. Of course, the hope is an increase, but right now we're very happy with the numbers.
Any questions from the board related to this?
Dr. Shar, you said 374 last year, and as of today, what's the number?
I'll go ahead and clean that up. It was actually in spring 25, it was 379. And this semester, we're tracking 373.
Okay, very close. Yeah. How much of that is associated with the efforts that the university is putting towards recruitment, retention?
We haven't really dug into the data with regards and doing a deep analysis, Mr. Chair. We do intend to do that. I am in conversation with our institutional researcher and our Dean of Enrollment Management and Student Success. So we would like to analyze that data. But I would like to say that I like to think that it, of course, is in part due to the extraordinary efforts, planning, and initiatives that are coming out of enrollment management and student success in concert with the various schools and colleges. We all work together for planning to do these engagements with students as well as prospective students and exiting students. And so at least for the past 3 years, we have seen a growth in student engagement because it's very important, as you all already know, that we need to have multiple touch points throughout a student's academic journey to ensure that they remain persistent and complete.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for a vote. All in favor of approving this resolution, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. All right, moving on to 5.2, Academic Personnel and Tenure Committee. Again, I will now call Senior Vice President Provost, Dr. Charlene. Can you provide an update?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, Madam President reported on multiple things. I just wanted to add to the accolades for this academic year. Coming up in fall 2026, we will officially launch the degree, the Bachelor of Science in Construction Management. That particular degree program is in high demand, and it was developed in response to industry leaders. The second is the recent signing of an MOU with the New York Institute of Technology for a medical school pathway to study Doctor of Osteopathy. The next one is we are finalizing an agreement with the Colorado School of Mines for a 2+2 program here at the University of Guam for a degree in mechanical engineering with an emphasis in additive manufacturing. So those are the three that I wanted to add to the report. Otherwise, we've had several faculty members apply for promotion and tenure. Those went through the review process and are at the various stages. I believe we may have a faculty member here to address the board this evening.
Any further questions on this update? All right, we'll go on and move on to agenda item 5.2.2. I have a motion to bring resolution number 26-14 to the floor.
Regent Yajoa motions.
All right, can you have a second?
Regent Holoa seconds the motion.
All right, so this is resolution 26-14 is relative to establishing the Associate Director, Water and Environment Research Institute WARI position. I'd like to open it up for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Water and Environmental Research Institute historically has always had a director to run the center. As of last year, we quote unquote moved WARI to be managed, right, or administered by the School of Engineering. So as a result, the Dean of the School of Engineering absorbed the director title as part of his duties as Dean. The director assumed an associate director position and continued to manage the daily operations of Weary. Because this particular position does not exist in our books, it was important for us to push it through this process to make it official and establish the associate director for Weary. To be clear, this model already exists here at UOG, and we see it at the College of Natural and Applied Sciences through ag innovation as well as cooperative extension and services. Thank you very much.
All right, anyone on the board have any questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Can I have a motion to approve this motion to establish the Associate Director of Water and Environment Research Institute Wary position?
Regent Chun would like to make a motion to approve.
All right, can I have a second?
Regent Duenas, second.
All right, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 5.2.3. This is a resolution 26-15 relative to approving the Bachelor of Arts in Educational Studies degree program. I have a motion to bring this resolution to the floor.
Regent Chun makes a motion to bring it to the floor.
All right, all right, we can move to discussion.
Thank you. Resolution number 26-15 is to approve the Education Studies program, which will be run through the School of Education. This particular program targets individuals who are interested in becoming educators, but not necessarily in the traditional K through 12 sense. We have educators in different kinds of organizations. We have them in healthcare centers. We have them in businesses, right? We also have daycare centers, right? That aren't necessarily, again, K through 12 that require licensure. Charter schools also have their own set of requirements. And this particular program, of course, speaks to those kinds of credentials that individuals who are interested in pursuing education as a career. It also addresses the needs regionally. Regionally, education systems don't require the same kind of licensure that our teachers here on the island do. And this addresses their needs as well. So there is definitely a gap, and this particular program will fill that gap. Thank you.
Does the university have a sense of how many students would benefit from this program?
Dozens and dozens and dozens of them. We actually, we've been holding off on this for a while. We've had a lot of conversations and different meetings, Mr. Chair. And we felt that this was the right time to push this program forward. And the community and the region have been waiting for us to push this through.
Dr. Shar, is there a chance that this might cannibalize some of the other programs? Is there a likelihood of a little bit of that?
With regard to the education programs in the School of Education, is that the question, sir? I'm going to say no, because there are different groups of students. Those who want to be a part of the local K through 12 system, they will continue to enroll in the programs that we have in existence today. This particular program that we're talking about here this evening targets a separate population. I don't think it's going to cannibalize. I think it offers an opportunity for them.
So the one suggestion would be to just make sure to track that and do the analysis to see, it's possible.
Absolutely. So part of this process is we were required to put this through the screening through our accreditors with WASC. And they asked all those questions, and we will be required to track those who enroll in the program and when they finish. Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, any other further discussion or questions?
None. No additional resources, Regent Fong. We will utilize our existing faculty members and courses. What we've done here is we've eliminated certain local requirements that our certification offers. For example, teachers need to complete the licensure exam. This particular program, it's not necessary because the work that they're going to do post-graduation does not require licensure like GDOE does.
Can I ask a question, Dr. Shar? You just mentioned there is that, typically for teachers going into the full education program, there has been this gap with passing this, is it a credential or there was a course that was sort of becoming like the gate that was preventing more people from moving on into the education degree. So is this program going to help prepare them for that if they decide to move in that direction, or how does this work?
So what you are referring to, Regent Chan, is the praxis,
Yes.
right? That's the
Yeah.
licensure exam. And so those who complete this new program, if they so choose to, they will still have to prepare. If their decision is to obtain a teaching license, right, here on the island to teach in GDOE, they will have to pursue licensure, which requires the praxis. The School of Education does have supports in place for students who wish to pursue that effort.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay.
It, of course, is separate from this, right? It's separate from this program. And students will be advised that this particular program does not lead to licensure,
Right.
that this program is educational studies to prepare them for educational environments and workplaces, but not necessarily for licensure.
Okay.
That isn't always the goal for all students.
Okay.
Any other further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstention? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. All right, we'll move on to agenda item 5.2. This is resolution number 26-16 relative to approving the revised University of Guam faculty travel grant policy, procedures, criteria, and timeline. Can I have a motion to bring resolution number 26-16 to the floor? All right, can I have a second?
Region Ujoa, second.
All right, we can go ahead and move into discussion.
Thank you. This particular resolution addresses specifically timelines, right? The established timelines that have been in existence for a really long time, faculty have been asking us to amend and to realign the dates so that they better coincide with when these deadlines are for conferences or research opportunities. And so the way it stands today, deadlines are so far ahead that oftentimes faculty do not get responses from the conference organizers, right, about whether or not their abstract was accepted. And so this would align it better. And so with the efforts of the Faculty Senate and other faculty members, the proposed dates, of course, are a better fit for the academic year as well as during the off time in the summer. Thank you.
Any discussion or questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. right, now moving on to agenda item 5.3, Physical Facilities Committee meeting. I will now call upon Vice President of Administration and Finance, Dr. Ricky Hernandez, to provide this update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good evening, everyone, members of the Board of Regents, Madam President, Madam SVP, and everyone in the audience. I just wanted to say thanks for the opportunity to be able to report out on the important information that will cover physical facilities, to include our ongoing capital projects, facilities management, and information technology updates. As it relates to our capital project highlights, the university completed final inspections and approved occupancy permits for both the Margaret Paris Hattori Uchima School of Health Nursing Annex and the Water and Environmental Research Institute of the Western Pacific facilities. We received those occupancy permits on Friday, May 8th, as part of the requirements of the U.S. Economic Development Administration's closeout procedures. Those were due on May 10th, and so we were able to meet the deadline. Over the next month, we'll be finalizing all of those documents for the full closeout of the U.S. EDA grant that we received. Special thanks, of course, goes out to our teams for getting to this milestone, including the admin and finance team, including our facilities management and services, as well as our business office, and all those that were involved in getting to this point. This doesn't mean we're fully moved in, as that work will continue throughout the summer months. Looking forward to potential ribbon cutting toward the end of summer. Other notable projects include the near completion of the Office of Information Technology generator. That'll include much needed energy redundancy for our, of course, our computer center and our server room and our data center, but will also power the RFK library, the Micronesian Area Research Center, as well as our global learning and engagement facilities. Additionally, we have completed the Dorm 1 roof repairs, and subject to funding identification, we'll be assessing the other dorms to move on to those roofs as well. As part of this report, because this is a quarterly meeting, we wanted to just highlight that the university was spared by Typhoon Sinlaku, and that when condition of readiness 4 was declared, that was on Thursday, April 16th at 12 p.m. The university community did band together to be able to restart classes quickly just on Monday, April 20th. The university did not sustain critical damage, unlike during Typhoon Mawar, but we were able to continue to work. We're continuing to work with FEMA via the Governor's Guam Recovery Office to provide the details of our initial damage assessments for potential funding in the event the president does declare emergency disaster declaration. Special thanks again goes out to our entire university community for all the efforts taken to not only respond to the typhoon and recover, but also in the preparation days before the typhoon made landfall. Moving on to our information technology updates. We do have our voice over internet protocol, our VoIP project that continues with our Office of Information Technology. They've installed and ported over 100 phones or 100 phone numbers. We do have over 800 phone numbers, and we have about 200 units left in stock. Estimated billing reduction per unit per month is anywhere from $40 to $65. And so as we experience these savings, we'll be able to continue to invest in more phone units. And in addition to that, our fiscal year 2027 budget request does include funding for recabling of our other buildings that have not been recabled. That'll allow for us to utilize those new phones and enjoy those savings for years to come. Our IT modernization project did kick off on March 18th. And then we had our strategic alignment engagement that happened on March 24th and 25th with dozens of our ERP users. And then in about a few weeks, our consultant or our ERP solutions contractor, Illusion, will be providing us a customer architecture reference model. They call it a CARM, which will help tailor UOG's needs with the upcoming ERP upgrade. So that is a large project. Happy that we had a lot of participation in the beginning parts, and we continue that over the next 24 months. And then just lastly, on the cybersecurity front, we continue with our GLBA compliance efforts to include inventory and asset management, encryption of university equipment, and personnel training and awareness. We also wanted to note that the most recent cybersecurity event impacted made the news that impacted GovGuam did not have an impact on the University of Guam website or systems. And with that, Mr. Chair, subject to any questions that the board might have. Thank you.
Okay, any questions from the board? All right. Move on to agenda item 5.4, investment committee. Again, Dr. Hernandez, can you provide an update for that committee?
Sure, thank you. And again, thank you for the opportunity to provide these updates on the university's investments. This is as of March 31st, 2026. Of course, Raymond James, our investment manager, has provided reports. Wanted to note just very high level information that the market portfolio reflected just for the first or the fiscal year to date. It's a 48 basis point decrease, but an increase of 11.69% for the prior 1 year period. So we're seeing some positive gains, although a little bit bumpy over the last few months because of the very volatile conditions in the market that I believe we may all be aware of, including the conflict in the Middle East, as well as impacts of the economies of different areas that have been impacting everything from interest rates all the way to business, just general business development. We do have some challenges with a few of our investment managers, specifically our U.S. equity growth and value managers and one of our non-U.S. equity managers. And Raymond James will be providing a recommendation to address those. One of them, I believe, is on watch. And we'll be addressing the other underperforming asset managers. And so we'll be taking in those recommendations. We will bring it to either the board or if we call another special investment committee meeting to address those concerns, as the board has delegated some authority to the investment committee to make those decisions on adjusting managers that may be underperforming over a period of time. I do want to note that majority of these investments under Raymond James are either restricted or endowment investments, such as for our land grant funds, student scholarships, capital needs, and self-insurance. So subject to any questions that you might have, just wanted to give you a high-level overview of the investments.
All right, any comments or questions from the board? All right, move on our agenda. 5.5, the Budget, Finance, and Audit Committee. Dr. Hernandez.
Thank you, and again, appreciate the opportunity to present on our budget, finance, and audit topics. It's my last report. I first want to start with discussing our cash allotments from the government of Guam. And I'm happy to report as of March 31st, we have received nearly all of our requested amounts per our remittance schedule through March 31st, with the exception of the UOG Capital Improvements Funds. The funding source for that is specifically real property taxes, which get deposited into the Territorial Educational Facilities Fund. We know that there has been delays in the collection of those funds, and so we expected that to be a bit of a delay. We also do have a bit of a delay on the Guam Cancer Trust Fund appropriations from the Healthy Futures Fund, but we have been working with DOA, and we expect to receive about $800,000 of that $4 million appropriation, or that $4 million total appropriation, to continue to provide and cover those grants to our subgrant partners under the Guam Cancer Trust Fund. So not very good cash remittance from DOA, not having a lot of issues with that. but we're working with them on those items that are still pending. Our statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position, which is also our income statement for the period ending March 31st. It does reflect stable finances bolstered by the on-time cash allotments with a positive change in net position for that 6-month period of about 2.7 million. Our statement of net position, which is our balance sheet as of March 31st, we usually compare that to the most recent audited fiscal year, which is the end of fiscal year 2024. Our audit, I'll talk about later, will be coming out shortly for 2025. But just some highlights related to that comparison. We do have changes, just identifying some large changes in accounts, mainly due to the completion or full completion of the construction of the 4 new buildings. And so there are some accounts in our balance sheet that had some large swings when you compare March 31st of this year to September 30, 2024. Of course, there's been a lot of time in between. But some of those accounts include like the reduction in our cash in our investments because we had to use that for the construction. So you'll see that comparison have a pretty significant reduction. Liabilities increase due to the USDA loan that we had absorbed, or at least the liability we absorbed as it relates to the USDA loan. And then, of course, the increase in our capital assets. And so since we had those buildings come online, we have an increase in our capital assets due to those buildings. Additionally, in the balance sheet, we do have some impact to our sick leave liability because of new GASB standards. And so that's GASB 101 related to compensated absences. And so there's a bit of an increase in our sick leave liability. A little bit early to talk balance sheet, but as we approach the end of the fiscal year and as we approach discussion of the end of the fiscal year or the completion of the fiscal year 2025 audit, that'll be a little bit more of an apples to apples comparison for that specific financial statement. Just taking a look at our budget to actual statement as of March 31st. Because of the timely allotments that we've been receiving from the Department of Administration and the government of Guam, our actual revenue collections are nearly 98% of the forecast. And so that's very helpful for us. As for our expenses, comparing that budget to actual, we're at about 90% of the budgeted spending. So we're at mid-year, right? So we expect that amount to level out as we complete certain IT-related projects on our buildings, such as cabling for some of the new buildings that were not part of the original project scope. And so we'll see that, level out, and we'll likely probably hit the expense amount too, though we continue to look for savings, including in our utilities. As it relates to the collections report, and Mr. Chair, if I may, with 5.5.1, 0.2, 0.3, if I could just report on all of those at one time, if that's okay with you. Okay.
Yes.
And so as it relates to our collections report, this is related to our student financial assistance program. We are reflecting a $105,000 actual collections through the end of March. That puts us on track a little bit over what we're expecting, but our forecast for the full year is $200,000. So we're about halfway through the year. We've collected about $105,000 from those past due amounts. And so we're on track to hit the forecast of $200,000 for the full year. Of course, these collections go back into the SFAP program. And so when we budget, for the $200,000, being able to collect that will help, put money back into that important program. As it relates to 5.5.3, procurement transactions report. So we usually report out based on resolution 5-54, any of those transactions over 100,000. So we have 3 spending contracts to report. One is these are all continuing projects that were renewed. One was for $292,000 with the U.S. Geological Survey. This is for water resource monitoring program under WERI. Then we had 2 other G4S Security Force Manpower and campus-wide 24/7 security projects totaling 387,000. So those are two separate contracts for G4S. And then we have two MOAs, and so these are positive. These are contracts or agreements that bring money into the university to provide services. And those are one from Department of Public Health and Social Services for 298,000. And then another one from DISID at 128,000. Both are for our Cedars unit to provide those services. And then lastly, just as an update for our audit, for our fiscal year 2025 audit, we're planning for a June 3rd special budget finance and audit committee meeting to discuss and approve that. And so we're targeting June 3rd for the completion and approval of that, which of course in prior boards has delegated that to the BFA committee. Okay, of course, for the full board, we'll work that through the committee chair to share that with the board. But of course, all are welcome to come and discuss that if and approach myself or others if you have any questions once we get that approved. And then lastly, we also plan to approve for the first time since the creation of the internal audit unit, the university's internal audit annual plan at that same meeting. And so that's something just to expect and look out for. Other than that, subject to any questions you might have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, sure, of course. A lot of these are typically timing differences. I think with regards to you're talking about the 6.8 million. Yeah, so in some cases, there are timing differences as it relates to some of these federal grants as they come in and are collected, they're reimbursable. I believe some of this is also related to financial aid. So I think I can give you a bit more detail for that one, but as we looked at this, it was really about timing. I know that it's the same period from last fiscal year, but we will note that we have lost some federal grants year over year as well, and so that's most of the impact. Yes, of course. Yeah, so budget to actual for tuition, we always find this reporting element for budget to actual to be quite difficult to estimate. When we look at the accounting records, of course, when a student registers, it automatically reports as revenue. It's recorded and recognized as revenue into the system. And so when we look at the actual numbers, of course, we have to adjust, right? Because recognizing tuition revenue for registrations at the beginning of the year, beginning of the semester has not yet ended as of March 31st. And so you collected a bunch of, or you've recognized tuition revenue up front. And so what we try to do is ensure that that's a bit leveled out. But I do note that the budget for the tuition, net tuition revenue did assume a 3,200 student enrollment, and so we're slightly under that. So it's tracking exactly what we understand. So that budget to actual of about 700,000, it's reflective of the lower than the budget enrollment. So yeah, but we of course to offset that, there's always of course looking at our spending, and so we are still about 10% below our expected spend. And so we'll be monitoring that as the rest of the fiscal year plays out. Yeah. Thanks.
right, any other questions from the board? All right, move on to agenda item 5.54. This is resolution number 26-17 relative to amending the UOG procurement regulations to revise the approval process for contracts for legal services. Can I have a motion to bring resolution number 26-17 to the floor? Can I have a second?
Regent Ujoa, second.
All right, we'll go ahead and have discussion. Would this be you, Dr. Ernest? Oh,
This is me. Thank you, sir.
okay. Oh, yes.
This resolution proposes a targeted amendment to section 2.10.2 of the university's procurement regulations, which relates to legal services contracts in particular. The current language was originally modeled on the General Services Agency procurement language that didn't directly apply to the University of Guam, but was incorporated by the Board of Regents into our regulations. The proposed amendment updates and actually modernizes the section to better align with our current governance structure, our internal legal review processes, and existing procurement practices for other contracts that are also administered internally pursuant to the laws that vest procurement and governance authority in the Board of Regents. It still continues to require legal review, of course, as to legality and form, but it keeps it within the university. So in that way, the amendment is intended to remove redundant approval requirements and to streamline the contracting process while maintaining appropriate legal oversight. Again, we already have these types of processes in place for other procurements. This just brings the legal services contract review internally, which is something that the university is authorized to do under the law. So the administrative council has also reviewed and endorsed this proposed amendment and recommends approval, of course, by the board. Subject to your questions.
Any questions? Nope. Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor of, actually, can I have a motion to amend the UOG procurement regulations to revise the approval process for contracts for legal services?
Regent Chen makes the motion to amend.
I can I have a second.
Regent Ujoa, second.
All right. Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. All right, moving on. Agenda item 6.0, we have the ad hoc report from the Endowment Foundation. Do we have our, oh. Executive Director
Hello.
Katrina Paris. Yep,
Hi,
you're
Hafaday.
recognized.
I don't know if you
Welcome.
can see me. All right, Hafaday, Chairman Diaz, and members of the Board of Regents, thank you all for providing me the opportunity to report. UOG Endowment Foundation is very honored to be a conduit for philanthropy from its donors, and we are very grateful for the valuable partnership with UOG personnel in reaching out to these donors. It is their passion for their programs and our region that helped to draw further interest from the community. In the wake of Super Typhoon Sinlaku, we are grateful to have been spared from the most damaging weather. However, our UOG community was deeply saddened to learn of the devastation affecting our Northern Island neighbors and the Northern Marianas College. UOG leadership quickly organized a fundraising effort to raise cash and in-kind donations in conjunction with the foundation. Special thanks go out to the U.S. Coast Guard, the Center for Island Sustainability, the 11th Annual UOG Film Festival Planning Committee of the CO 460 Integrated Public Relations class, the CM 412 Topics in Chamorro Studies class, the UOG Advancement Office, UOG Residence Halls, and the numerous volunteers and donors who supported this effort. Altogether, we received in-kind donations valued at $7,780, including bottled water, canned goods, care packages, and hygiene products. We also exceeded the original goal of $10,000 in cash and received cash donations of $11,007, which will be used to purchase solar-powered fans and solar power banks. Other notable donations and/or other payments received in the past few months include $31,351 as an in-kind donation of United Airlines tickets from Mr. Bob Solis of LMS in sponsorship of the Guam Youth Resilience and Purpose Initiative. Special thanks to President Enriquez in building this relationship. $12,600 from the Friends of Micronesia in support of the Friends of Micronesia Scholarship. $12,000 from America's SBDC in support of the Guam SBDC Fund. And special thanks to Frederick Granillo for bringing in these funds. $10,000 from VP Emerita, Dr. Helen Whippy, in support of the endowed Whippy Family Last Mile Scholarship and Triton Super Typhoon Sinlaku relief efforts. $8,480 was raised through the 2026 UOG Charter Day 2K 5K fun run in support of Triton Athletic Scholarships. Special thanks go to the UOG Student Government Association and the Triton Athletics Department for their fundraising efforts. And for the following sponsorships benefiting the 2026 Conference on Island Sustainability, special thanks go out to Dr. Austin Shelton. $10,000 was received from Hannah Enterprises, LLC, and $7,500 from Proferi Incorporated. As you interact with these UOG employees and members of these donating organizations, please take the opportunity to thank them for their continued partnerships in supporting the University of Guam and elevating our island communities through higher education. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Any questions for our executive director?
Regent Ujoa. Hi, Kat. This is Regent Ujoa. I know in the past I had some questions on possibly having a session where the board could hear a presentation on how endowment fund may be able to interact with the board and or strategize with the board on any kind of activities, especially where there are funds requirements. Is that a possibility that we could schedule?
I'm sure we could. Right. We currently have regular monthly meetings. We're starting with the president, but yeah, I'd be happy to talk to you about how we can set up other times to talk as well.
And I guess we would need council's opinion on if board members can meet with endowment fund to have these kinds of discussions and how we can do that and be within open public law. Can we get some dates and times possibly available to the board for consideration?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to agenda item 7.0, and this is for open presentations. I understand that we do have someone who's requested to provide a part. All right, Dr. McNitch.
So I'll turn this thing on. Thank you. Thank you, Regents. My name is Ron McNinch. I'm in the School of Business and Public Administration, and I am in the Public Administration and Legal Studies Department or Division where I'm chair. Thank you, Regent Diaz, for your service. You had a long term of service on the board, and you certainly are a great chair, and we greatly appreciate it. If a person flies a lot on United Airlines, they get like a 1,000,000-mile flyer thing, right? Well, I think I'm the most active speaker before the board as a faculty member. So I was just wondering if I get some kind of prize or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking. Really quickly, in December 2025, Judge Munson, who was the federal judge on our agreement, our 2018 agreement, he passed away. And so then last April, when the former chair departed, I believe there was a collegial consensus to have my concerns resolved. And I asked that there be a kind of transition when the chair leaves, and there's like a transition of information, because when people rotate out of information, they're no longer informed. And so in my particular case, only I guess the executive committee of the board knows all about my issues. And I'd just like there to be a kind of handoff of information in that regard. And just to make sure there's follow through and things like that. And I noticed tonight you're electing new leadership. And so I'd just like to kindly remind everybody of that. Also, if possible, once there's new leadership, I'd like for us to consider making a schedule with dates for completion, because there was no structure when we agreed to work things out. There was no structure provided. I think that would help a little bit more too. On the other hand, if the board's changed its mind on resolving things, just let me know and we'll proceed along other lines. I've known Dr. Enriquez for many years. I have a lot of respect for her, and I think that she's able to collegially lead the university in ways that others may not have been able to in the past. And so I have good faith in that. On a final note, I just want to mention my good friend, Dr. Judy Guthers. I tell people all the time, if you don't like me, blame Judy Guthers. But she got hired to be the chair of Guam Community College. I think that Dr. Enriquez and Dr. Guthers are going to work very well together. And I think that the community college and the university can do a lot of good things in the near future. And so we certainly look forward to it. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other presenters?
There we go. Now it's on. Okay. Hi, I am Arun Swami. Most of you know me. I am, of course, professor of political science. I'm also, of course, the faculty union president. I asked to speak mainly to, I hope, delight you, if not dismay you, with the news that I was reelected. So I'm going to be around. I did have stiff opposition from the last speaker, my good friend Ron, and we're still friends, and that's what matters. We will be in the next few months going into the next contract negotiation. As those of you who were on the board 2 years ago will recall, when I had just become president, the contract was held over. We extended the 2018 contract by 3 years because of a failed negotiation. The negotiation actually did conclude with an agreement, but then differences developed over that draft. There were concerns expressed in the senior administration, partly because of certain readings of the law issued by the last general counsel, and the whole thing fell apart. And we then decided to hold it over for 3 years. So we're entering into the negotiation period again. So heads up, here we go again. We are all, particularly the president and I are, I guess I'm a president too, so we two presidents are working together to try to facilitate this process by starting earlier, by trying to identify articles to focus on, and so that, trying to pre-vet as many issues as we can. The union has started its own internal discussions. One of the things I know that we'll be asking you to do is, as you may recall, there were a number of amendments passed after the last negotiation was failed. We did pass certain amendments. Those have never been incorporated into the text. I circulated an informal version of the text with the amendments and track changes. It would really be good to have a final version of that for everyone to work on when we're actually working to amend it. So I think we'll be asking you to, all of us will be asking you to approve that sometime. That, if we can just agree that that's with the text, then we can just start on it. And beyond that, I look forward to, I see my clock is running fast. Ron is better at this elevator speech than I am. I'm already out of time and have so much more to say, so I'll save it for next time. I look forward to working with all of you again. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have any other open presentations? Okay. We'll go ahead on with our next agenda item, 8.0. This is the adoption of the Board of Regents meeting schedule for academic year 2026, 2027. Can you have a motion to table the adoption of the Board of Regents meeting schedule for this academic year 2026, 2027?
Regent Chun motions to table this.
Okay, can we have a second?
Regent Ujoa, second.
All right, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. All right, agenda item 9.0, the election of officers. So we will now proceed with this election of officers. The floor is now open for nominations for the Board of Regents officer positions of chairperson, vice chairperson, and treasurer. The new slate of officers will assume their roles beginning June 1st of this year. So 9.1, chairperson. Any nominations?
I, Regent Ujoa, nominate Regent Mike Nahalawa as for chairman to serve as chairperson.
Okay. Regent Ohawa, do you accept the nomination? Okay. Do we vote on that? No. Okay. Gotcha. All right. All right, moving on to 9.2, vice chairperson. Is there a nomination for vice chair?
Yes, Chairman. I, Regent Chun, nominate Regent Malili to serve as vice chairperson.
I know Regent Malili is currently on travel. Kayleen, did you hear from Regent? Okay, great. All right, 9.3, treasurer. Is there a nomination for treasurer?
Okay, I'll go, chairperson. Regent Chun. I, Regent Chun, nominate Regent Chris Duenas to serve as treasurer for a second term.
All right, Regent Duenas, do you accept the nomination? I, Regent Duenas, accept the nomination.
Excellent.
All right. Any other further nominations? All right, if there are no further nominations, can I have a motion to close nominations?
Regent Ujoa, close, motions to close.
I can have a second. All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion carries. Nominations are now closed, and we will now proceed to a vote. All those in favor of electing Regent Nahalawa as chairperson, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Regent Nahalawa is now the elected chairperson. Congratulations. All those in favor of electing Regent Malili as vice chairperson, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Regent Malili is now the vice chairperson. All those in favor of electing Regent Duenas as treasurer, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Regent Duenas, you're the elected treasurer. Congratulations. All right. Agenda 10.0 is executive session. Can I have a motion to enter into executive session?
Regent Chun makes the motion to enter into executive session.
All right, and a second?
Regent Ujoa.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the board will now enter an executive session at 6:49 p.m.
Mic check 1, 2.
Executive session, any action of the board. For the record, no session regards our salary, compensation, or vote to term. That's a discussion or action if necessary will occur in open session.
I'm just putting this close.
All right, we'll now move into agenda item. Should I mute? Should I do a mic check?
Okay.
No need to put this on mute? We're good?
Because we weren't connected. Okay.
Okay.
But I think we're good now, but it's the Bluetooth.
Okay.
Okay.
And a motion to approve tenure for Dr. Fine. In a second. One for a vote, all in favor of approving for tenure, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none. Approval for tenure is passed unanimously. Moving on to recommendation.
Dr. Catherine Gutierrez, Assistant Professor of Education, Educational Leadership. Can I have a motion to approve for tenure? Can I have a second? All right, we'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving for tenure, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion to approve for tenure passes unanimously. Agenda 11.3, recommendation for tenure for Dr. Rita Sharma, Assistant Professor of Psychology. Can I have a motion to approve for tenure? Can I have a second? Call for a vote. All in favor to approve tenure, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion to approve for tenure passes unanimously. Our next item before the board is 11.4. This is the President's Evaluation Review. The Board of Regents Presidential Evaluation Committee has reviewed President Enriquez's goals, duties, and accomplishments for the evaluation period consistent with the performance expectations set forth in the President's Employment Agreement. The Presidential Evaluation Committee reviewed President Enriquez's goals, duties, and accomplishments for the evaluation period and recommends that the board find her performance to be better than satisfactory, as measured against the performance expectations set forth in the President's Employment Agreement. Consistent with the agreement's annual compensation provision, which states that if the board determines the President's performance is satisfactory or better, She is eligible for an annual merit-based salary adjustment of 2 to 3%. The committee provides this recommendation for the board's consideration in open session. At this time, I'd like to recognize President Enriquez.
Performance by my team as well as myself. Has been a pleasure to lead within these first 2 years of the performance period. I do want to, just for the record, state that I will be foregoing any proposed salary increase in connection with this 2-year evaluation period at this time. Thank you.
At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the Presidential Evaluation Committee's evaluation review, finding the president's performance to be better than satisfactory for the evaluation period, and to accept President Enriquez's decision to forego any potential salary increase associated with this evaluation period. May I have a second?
Regent Ujoa, second.
All right, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. All right, adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Regent Chen motions to adjourn.
Can I have a second? All right, all in favor? Aye. Motion passed unanimously. We are adjourned at 7:51 p.m.